Hello all. Okay, we're going to do our worksheet in our sketchbook. So the first thing you need to do is put in a horizon line. Now remember that if you want it to be absolutely horizontal, you're lining it up with the little black line through that red one on your ruler. Okay, there's your horizon line. That's also your eye level. Okay, give it 2 vanishing points. Make sure you've actually put the points in so you can have something to line up to. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put in a vertical line. Now this is not a terribly big one. It's got about 1.5 inches above and 1.5 inches below. Okay, we're going to follow the instructions on this worksheet, sort of. Okay, because we want to do a couple of extra things too, so I can teach you those. Alright, from the top and bottom of that line that you just drew, that vertical line, you're going to run those back to the vanishing point. Now if you're doing this for the first time, feel free at any time to hit pause and do yours, and then we'll move to the next step. Alright, so the next step would be to put the backs on this, because you've got a wall going back to infinity here and a wall going back to infinity there, and you want to cut that wall off so it's not quite as long. Okay, so there's the back. There's the other back. Okay, now you've kind of got a book, the wall's cut off. Okay, let's put a top on it. You can see the top because it is below the eye level. Run the back corner back to the opposite. Run the other corner back to the opposite vanishing point. Okay, then you've got a box and you can see the top. Alright, let's move up to the top. It's interesting to do one that's floating up in space. So let's put one kind of just to one side up towards the top. That's above your eye level. Alright, so we're going to run the same exact thing we just did. Run those to the vanishing point. Run that one to the vanishing point. Run that to the vanishing point. Okay. Okay, you've got walls going back to infinity now. Time to cut off the wall. Make sure this is very vertical. It needs to be vertical. If you're not, and you want your ruler goes like this or like this, it won't look right and it won't be right. Okay, there's the 2 walls. Now we're going to put now because you're above eye level, you would obviously be able to see the bottom. So we're going to run from the back corner back to the vanishing point, and that's going to give you the back edge. From this other back corner back to the other vanishing point, and that gives you the whole bottom. If you're having a hard time seeing it, shade it in. Okay. All right, let's do one more over here. Now this time I'm going to line everything up with the vanishing point, but I'm not going to draw it all the way back, and show you that you can do that. Keeps it a little bit tidier, especially when you're overlapping objects. Okay. So this way we can run it back to the vanishing point, but I'm only going to take it back about as far as I think that box is going to go. Okay, I'm still going to the vanishing point every single time. The nice thing about 2-point perspective is that there aren't as many choices. It's either vertical or the vanishing point, or it has a really good reason. And we'll talk about some of those really good reasons later. Alright. So I've got these 2, this wall going back, this wall going back. Let's put the back on it. It is a little trickier when you don't have it all the way back, putting that vertical line on it. Sometimes you have to finish something, but that's okay. Pull that one back. Okay, so now you've got the front side and this other side. Okay. Now, remember, back corners back to the vanishing point, but we're only going to go a little ways. So lining up those corners, make sure this is on the point. This is on the point of that back corner of that box. This is on the other back corner of the box. And back. So you can draw a very similar cube, but not running everything all the way back to the vanishing point. Okay, now, If you want to draw something and it looks like a little house, you're going to want to find the center. If you want to draw something that looks like a little birdhouse or has one of those little gabled roofs. So what you'll need to do to find center is you go corner to corner, and then corner to corner again, and I'm going to put the front of the roof on this side. Okay, so now I have found dead center in my box. Okay, put a little dot there just to help you. All right, now from that dead center, I'm going to go straight up. Now you'll notice that center, it's a little bigger space here than it is here because you're looking at a plane that's going back in space. This is obviously bigger because it's closer to you. This is smaller because it's further away from you. All right, so this, I've taken a line straight up from that up to where I think the top of my gable end will be. Now I'm going to draw it. Now this is one of those times when you're drawing not to the vanishing point, and I'm going to draw like I'm drawing the trusses on a house, okay? And I've drawn from this tip top down past the corner, down here where there's an eave where the rain drips off, okay? Same thing, other side. Now these will all look a little bit different. They kind of end up in different places depending on how close they are to the horizon line or your eye level. Okay, now obviously that doesn't quite look right yet because it's got this little tail here. What we're going to do is we're going to run that little tail back to the vanishing point. And we're going to be able to see the underside of the roof there. Okay, over here, we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be little and short. And it's just going to finish off that corner. Okay, now we've got this little edge here that doesn't look quite right. The neat thing about gable roofs is whatever happens in front has to happen in back. So you line up your ruler with that angle, and you just slide the ruler down to the edge of your house. And then draw the line. Let me do that again. Line it up with the edge of your house. So we're lined up right here. Slide the ruler down so you've got exactly the same angle right here. And that just finishes it off. Now, if you want to make this look like it's not just made out of paper, if we just put a line straight up here, keep going with that little line, what this will do is we can put something that looks like a 2x4 on the roof or on the edge. Once again, this does not go to the vanishing point because it's part of the roof. Okay, so that just gives that a thickness. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it a little better. Okay, can you see that? Just giving it a thickness. I'm going to pull this one out. Give it a little bit of a thickness. The really neat stuff with perspective is in the details. Giving things a little bit of a thickness, making them look like they really are. It just takes a little bit more time, but it's worth it. Alright, so that's what that roof looks like with a little bit of a thickness on it. Okay, now since we have this little X here and we know where the center is, we can put a door that's absolutely centered in that side, and it's really easy because you just say, well, I want the front side of my door to be about here, and I'm going to run it from the bottom of the birdhouse up to where that cross piece is. I'm going to quit. Okay, then the top of the birdhouse has to go down to the vanishing point because it's a horizontal surface, so it goes to the vanishing point. And when I get to the other cross piece, I'm going to quit. All right. Then I'm going to bring my ruler and we're going to go straight down. Like that. And that gives you a door. Just like that. All right. Now, if you wanted it to have a little bit of a thickness to it, so it doesn't look like it's made out of, cardstock or something, you would, on the top back corner, you'd pull a little tiny line. Let me show you that's closer up here. Okay. Let me rearrange my stuff here so you can see it a little closer. This doesn't have a zoom on it, so maybe that's a little better. There we go. Okay, now you've got that little line that goes to the vanishing point, and then you're going to take this one to the vanishing point over here because it's the same one as the wall goes to. Okay, so that pulls there, and then this one pulls straight down to the floor. Okay, so now you've got a little door. Same thing with a window. Okay, if you want it centered in the space, you've got to do that little corner to corner thing again. So we're going to run that corner to corner. And corner to corner. Find the front of your window. Now this one's not going to go clear to the floor because it's a window, not a door. So there's your front. Notice I'm stopping the line where I hit the cross pieces. Okay, then I'm going to run from the top here, down, bottom here, back. Okay, both of these are going to the vanishing point. That's going to the vanishing point, that's going to the vanishing point. Then want to go straight down. And there's your window. Okay, let's add that little thickness like we had in the door where we see the top. Now, if we made windows in these bottom boxes, we'd be able to see the bottom of the windowsill instead of the top. But because this is above your eye level, you can see the top. Alright, so there's your window, there's your door. Okay, let's look at what to do for a porch. Now, because if you're going to have if this is going to be a tree house and you wanted the ladder to go up, it's probably not great to have it go right in the door. So let's figure out how to put a porch on this. Now, if you think about it, a porch is only an extension of the floor. So let's do that. So if I want to extend my floor out from the house, I can bring one out like this. Okay, I extended that line that's the floor out. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going back to the vanishing point, but I'm extending it out away from the house. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm going to put a front on it. Okay, that's going to the vanishing point. This is absolutely going to the vanishing point, and I'll draw the rest of that line just so you can see. Alright, that's going to a vanishing point. Now, to get it to look like it's not just clear glass, which it's pretty cool, but I'm not sure you want to do that. So we're going to make a little thickness here, just a little tiny short line. Then we're going to run a line back to the vanishing point, stop it, put a little vertical line. Run this line back to the vanishing point. I gave myself a little piece of trim on the bottom of the house, that's fine. Alright. Now, if you want to take an eraser and pull these lines out so they're not bugging you, that's fine. If you want to just shade it in, whatever makes it so you can see it better. Okay, so that becomes the entire bottom. Now, if you want to make sure that people don't fall off of there, you can bring this up a little further, run that to the vanishing point, run it the other way to the vanishing point. Notice I just brought that corner straight up. That's all I did. Run the other corner back to the vanishing point, bring that corner straight up, and then you've got a banister, and you can use your ruler to do this, but I'm going to do it kind of quick here for you. Okay. If you feel like putting a ladder on this, I'm going to erase a couple of my little banister bits. Pull that straight down, pull that straight down. Okay, now I've got a doorway and I can put my ladder in it. Now think this through a little bit. If you have this house, you're going to want to have that ladder come right down into your space, okay? Don't have it stop at the horizon line. This is like 35 miles out there. Okay, if it came just to here, that's just hanging way out in the air. But it needs to come down here into your space. Now, if you want a perfect ladder, you draw it with a ruler. Pull the sides down. Pull the other side down. Now that's about far enough down, okay? This is down, I know it's in my space now. It's a big long ladder, but it'll be okay. Alright, so I want to end it. I'm going to say okay. Now you'll notice your lines have started going up to the vanishing point here. That's still correct. Now you're going to have little ladder pieces all the way up. One way to help you make those even is to just grab your ruler and about every 1/4 of an inch, just make a little tick mark. Okay, and then you're going to run all these guys back to the vanishing point, but just little short bits. So there's that one, it goes back, and that one goes back, that one goes back. Okay, now I'm not going to go all the way up, but you get the idea. And I'll run these, a couple of these down. Notice that the angle of the line is different, and that's totally fine. That's what it's going to do, because some of these are above your eye level and some of these are below your eye level, so it changes what they look like. Some of these will be almost straight because they're right at your eye level, so that's the difference. Okay, I guess I ended up doing all those. Whoops, let's just do that last one. Alright. Now, you'll notice they don't really look like ladder rungs yet. So what you could do is, now I get mixed up if I don't put a little tiny X on the ones that are actually solid. So not solid, 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 not solid, solid, air, solid, air, solid, air, solid. Now I know which ones I need to have backs to. Alright, another fast way to do this is draw a parallel line down the back side so that thicknesses are all done at the same time. Let's run that up. Okay. Now you're just going to create little boxes. I'm just going to put the sides on the boxes here for a minute. There's that one and that one, and then you can put the top on it and run it back. So you're going to run back to the vanishing point, back to the vanishing point, front, side, for each one of your little stairs. And they will all look something like this, but they will all change as they go up. Some will have less of the top showing, some will have the bottom showing, like right here. Now, if you have stilts, and you have this thing on stilts, and if you want it on a beach or something, you just draw a line straight down. It's kind of like drawing a really long box. It's nice to have two sides to it. Right now, that's one side. So there's that. And you say, well, if that's the side, it probably needs a front. So even though that box is right there, we'll just give it a front. Okay, so we're going to pull that around the front. Pull that back up. Okay, so now you've got the side of a box. You've got the side of a box. You've got the front of a box. Now, that you would do stilts for this corner, that corner, that corner, okay? And when you want to line them up, you'd bring these forward and bring those down. So everything goes to the vanishing point. This would go to the vanishing point, and this is where this one would meet. Okay? All right, now if you want a tree, same kind of thing. You're saying, well, where's my tree? I'm going to ignore this box for a minute. I'm probably going to pull it out now, since we're not going to use it. Okay, a tree, you need to have a nice big tree for this, because if it was a tree house, it's not going to be on some little tiny sapling, okay? So it's probably going to come across here. There's going to be a root that comes down here. Maybe this comes here. Maybe it comes through there, behind there. All right. The trick to doing these little roots is kind of keep an odd number and have one going kind of sideways and overlapping the other one. All right, now I've got a huge tree here. And we'll pretend I don't have that stilt right there, but it's okay. Trees get larger as they get to the bottom. Now that one looks like it's bigger, but that's because we're going to have two branches that are going to branch off here. One branch is going to go up. Let's have this one go in front. And you'll lose a little bit of your house. Don't panic. You're going to have maybe a little corner that doesn't show. This one back here. So we'll pull that one up. Pull this tree out behind. There we go. Now, the cool thing about trees is that they make a Y. I mean, the branches make a Y a lot of times. They often don't make that kind of a Y, though. They make a skinnier Y. Also, they don't go very far without having a branch on them. So if it starts looking odd, give it a branch and then have that branch off, and it will help and look better. So this one really needs a branch off here. Okay. Let's pretend like there's another one back up in here somewhere. Okay. So now I've got a tree. We're going to have this branch of the tree go in front of the house, so it looks like the house is kind of nestled in it, and then it looks like it makes sense. All right. I'm going to pull that one out too. Okay, so now I've got this branch. Now, you're going to give it some cotton ball leaves. You're not drawing every single leaf. You're just drawing the groups of leaves, the big groups of leaves. And often those leaves will go right off the edge of the paper because you've got a big old tree here. And don't let them be too regular. We're not trying to do ruffles or anything here. Kind of make it so we've got quite a few layers on them. Makes it fun to color them in different values when you start shading them. Kind of beef up what you've got here. All right, and that's kind of where we're headed with this. So that's all of the basics for a tree house, and there's as many things as you want to do with this. With the assignment, remember that we're looking at who might live in the house, where would the house be, and what would it be made out of. So think about all of those things as you're adding details to your treehouse. All right. Talk to you later.